Hello, and welcome to the first showcase video for the Ultimate Poly Fantasy full release. This is a showcase for the animations included in the package and the demo scene called the Animation Playground. So let's take a look. In the first half of this video, we will be basically showing you what the demo scene looks like. We'll be playing around with these different scripts and interactable objects just to play with to see how they look. The second half of the video will actually go in and explain to you as sort of an electronic readme of how to use these scripts and set them up in your scenes. Most of these are very easy, already set up, and as easy as drag and drop into your scene, and they work just like that. So let us find our controller. We have a demo character that will be included in the package to use, and let's begin. So first thing, we have a cursor that I've added, and it's just good to have this. It helps to pick up things, interact with items, and all that, so that's very good. It's very easy to take off or customize if you want to. But everything you see here is 95% all new models included in this update. This is a demo scene that's included. You'll be able to come in here, play around, see all the animated objects, play with them, all that. We have little sprites here for references to kind of help you if you forget. Also, if you see the random lotting, pay no attention to this. This is supposed to happen. The reason they're disappearing so close is these are made for indoor. Those are dressers and chests and stuff like that. You wouldn't really have these laying outside. If you do, it's very easy to tweak the LODs. But you figure, imagine there's a wall here and those are actually inside a house. You wouldn't want them rendering over here if you're outside of the house. So if you play this demo scene, you're like, why are the objects doing that? They're supposed to do that. We have some little things. I have a basic lantern on a simple animation. Nothing crazy. But what we have here is interactable objects. We have a lot of objects in this package that have animations now, and then we have some rigid body as well. Any object that has a rigid body, I've given a yellow or gold highlight to it to let you know that it's an interactable object. Any object that has an animation to it and can move and be activated with some sort of button press has a green highlight. So if you walk over to our chests here, they highlight a nice little green. I kept it this fun little look. You can actually change how wide the highlight is or what color it is if you want for yourself. But I kept it a little bit like this to give that nice fantasy feel to it and give you a good interaction to what you're doing. If I go over and I press E, it opens up, press E, and it closes. As simple as that. Many of these objects can be animated very, very easily. What we're using is called a two-state toggle machine. I had a friend actually help me write these. And what that is any animation or any object that has two animations, for example, an open and close, or an up and down, or a side to side, it uses the two-state toggle animation script. And what that does is it allows us to know that, okay, well, this is a chest, so, or a box that has an open and close function. So it uses this two-state controller for chest. What it is it's an override. It allows you to have objects that use the same kind of rotation or movement. So since all these chests, they're rotating on their pivot point in the back, they all use the exact same movement. So rather than having to animate every single object separately, all I had to do was animate one object, create the controller, set it as the override, and then apply it to each one. It works the same with doors, dressers, anything you want to animate by using the override. It's very easy to set up, and we'll look at that later. So if you go over to our barrels and crates, we have a simple rigid body. I press E to pick up, and as it says, I press F to drop. Simple as that. Look at that. We have little drawers. If you want to make maybe a kid's game, you want to have it very interactable. You can have people play with the stuff. You can take your dishes out or put them away, however you do. This is a certain interaction distance you can set. It's a public variable. So if you want it to be closer to interact or further away to interact, I have it at about this distance just to show you the purpose. I don't know if you'd be able to really open a drawer this far away, but for the purpose of the demo scene, I give it a little bit of a range. The same thing works. It's the same script for the pickups. So whatever you set for The animation interaction, it'll set for how far away you can pick up an object. Same with the barrel. Normally it would be a little too far away in a realistic way. Unless you want it to really be a fun kids game, they wouldn't really care. But it's very easy to set the distance of what you pick up. So we have little fantasy stoves. I've tried to add some furniture and interactive objects to this full release update. We have little pots and pans you can move around. You could take off the box collider in there, put a mesh collider on it, maybe put something in, cook some chicken or something, close the door, make a little particle effect appear, and boom, now you're cooking something. There's a lot of options to do with this. If I come over here, I kept the mesh colliders on these dressers just so that they can, be messed around with. You know how rigid bodies work in any game. You gotta be careful or else it's gonna go through objects. But there we go. We just put our dish away, close the door, and the kitchen is complete. So these are all very, very simple to set up. Since these drawers have drawer A, drawer B, and drawer C, A is all the bottoms, B is all the middle, and C is all the top, I had to create 3 different controllers. One for that coordinate, one for that, one for that. And since it knows the controller A, B, and C, this only has 2, that's A and B. So it's just as simple to set it up on anything. It's very easy to work with this. So very interactable objects and very fun to play with. The same thing works for doors. These are using a rotation pivot. We have 2 types of controllers for the doors. We have the door left and the door right. The door left uses a rotation on the 90 degrees, open and close. Since the door on the right will use -90, we had to make a second controller to check that it's a negative. But now that I've made this controller for these doors, I can come over and apply them to each. Doors like this won't have a highlight at first, be hard to see because this is just one solid square. You open it up, you'll be able to see it. So since this uses the right pivot on the bottom, it knows to use the door right controller. Let's see this one. That's a door left, so it knows to use the door left controller. We go to our fences, and all I'm doing is I'm just pressing E to open, and I'm pressing E to close. Just as simple as that. You can add a lot of functionality with different pieces if you want. Make random stuff animate for the fun of it, using just these few. I believe I have maybe 3 or 4 main controllers. We have a Portcullis gate, which is an up and down. Mostly used for that. We have the doors, like I said, door left, door right. It works for the fences. That knows it's a door right because it's going -90. And I think this is also a door right because on this side it is opening on the -90 as well. And we also have the chest, which does the rotation as you saw. And maybe one over if I think about it. I think it's, that's right. It's a different rotation for a drawbridge, which we'll get to soon. So I go over to our Castle Gatehouse doors. We have a bunch of different big doors to play with and interact. Some with nice detail to them. So in some cases I have a door. I haven't added the rigid body, but you can pick up the board. You can put it on the slot. If you look in the slot spot, it can fit perfectly in. So if you want to have more logic to your games, people are trying to attack the castle and you're trying to defend it, you have the board there, you take the board off, now you can open the door, storm outside, attack the attackers. So there's a lot of options to do. Now all these prefabs that you're looking at here are saved in the project as prefabs. So if you drag and drop these in the screen, or in the scene, they will actually come out just like this. They have the animations attached, and the character knows to use them. They have the highlight and everything, so everything is game ready just for you. The rigid bodies will take one more step. They have the rigid body, they have the highlight on them, they have everything they need, but once you bring them into the scene, you just have to tell them what the character is. Drag the camera for the character into the slot to let it know that the character is the one that can interact with these. But everything else is game ready, very easy. So the Portcullis, this uses the 2-state toggle, but it also has a functionality where if you want to control multiple objects with one button press. So what this knows is that when I press the front one, it's also going to open the back, and vice versa. There's a lot of different options for that. Let's say you are in a dungeon, you're making a scene. You have this secret lever that you find. You push the lever, well, halfway across the map, by pushing this lever, you've activated an animation that you've set in some secret room far away. So it allows you to have that button and lever functionality to press one thing and open another. And all it's using is a two-state override to set what it's controlling with. So if we go to our Portcullis, it highlights once we get close, we press E, it opens both. If I come to the back one, press E, it closes both. So there's a lot of options to do with these. As you can see, these castle walls, these are some new pieces. We have different levels of pieces. Some are basic. We have LODs included on every single prefab in the package to make sure that your draw calls and your frame rates are great. Bricks can be placed separately if need be. And you'll notice one thing you might notice already in this stream, or this video I mean, is the portcullis gates will come up a little bit. That is there on purpose because I have fully modular parts for this, which we'll go over in another video. You'll see the actual full demo scene I have built. That will be in a separate segment. But the crenellations are modular, they go on top, and when they're on the castle it fits perfectly. It doesn't blend in, or it blends in perfectly, you know. So I did that on purpose. It's not a mistake, but you might have seen that in the video and been like, oh, he's trying to hide something. But you know, even with the portcullises, I'm being realistic with the castle. They actually have an indent that goes all the way up and in up the castle. So it's not just some portcullis gate going through a mesh. You know, it actually has a realistic gap to it that slides right up in it to give you that more realism feel for this ultimate poly fantasy pack. So moving along, to try not to keep this too long here for you, we have a ladder script. There are many ladder scripts available. This is the one that I want to do. It's simple and it works for what you need to do. It is a box collider on trigger event. All you have to do is walk up into it, and once you walk up into it, it's like a roller coaster. You are stuck on it until it ends. It's a simple thing. Just to show you the gist, it allows you to play my demo scenes easy, that you can easily use your own. It disables your controls, so I can't look around, I can't jump off, I can't go down. It makes it so only W, which is forward, will keep moving forward. So if I look straight at it, I walk in, now I'm stuck, I can only press W and move right up. Voila. I can do the same thing. I can look up a little bit so I can see a little bit of my angle. I'm stuck in, and here we go. So there's the ladder. Depending on how you set the box collider at the top, you'll get up very smoothly. So we have drawbridges as well. The drawbridge is parent and children objects. The bridge itself has an animation, and the gears have an animation which allows the bridge to move. So by interacting with the gears, or the pivots, or whatever you want to call these little wheels of happiness, press E, it starts to spin, and the door goes down, or the drawbridge goes down. Moving along, this is the same thing as the portcullis. This bridge knows that if we press this side, it'll also activate that side, and vice versa. If you want to set it so it doesn't do that, it's very easy, just the same as setting up a door or something like that. But if I press it, they both come down. And yes, there are colliders. I can walk right on my bridge if I want to, have a play with it, press E and try to run back in time, and there we go. Stairs have colliders, that's a bonus. So we have quick scene modules. This is actually one entire castle courtyard you can place in your scene. It has the trees and rocks attached to it as a modular prefab. I have a lot of that in the pack as well, but we'll get to that in another video. So press U to open and to interact. This is just the castle doors to show you. Same kind of thing. It's using door left and door right scripts. And here's our castle courtyard module. Targets, weapons, the whole deal. We have a lot of stuff in this package. But that's not the main point of this video, of course. This is to show you the demo scene for the animation playground. Let us run along here. Tons of different trees, different grass. We have both 3D model grass available and billboard grass. I say we as if there's more people. I'm a one-man team, but I do have people helping me, which is very nice. And it's much appreciated. They've helped me with these scripts. They've helped me with a bunch of stuff. So here we have rotating objects. They have a simple rotate script that allows you to change the X, Y, or Z for an infinite spin. The same as you saw with the floating island in the beginning. We have gears. You know, you have one on a positive rotation, one on a negative rotation. And we have little watermill wheels. Maybe put them next to your house in the water. Gives us that nice effect. That's a portal. We're going to get to that soon. We have water. For those of you who may own the beta already, who are waiting for this new release, or those of you new to this package, we have water included in the package, but it doesn't move. Now we have a functionality for the water. It has 3 variables. It has a power scale, it has an actual scale, and a time scale. You know, the power of how powerful it is when it moves, the scale of how much it goes up and down, and the time overall of how long it takes for each bump to go up and down, kind of thing. So this is, you know, fairly simple for a lake. It moves. The water is see-through. You can go underneath it and see each vertex moving. So you have that pretty little effect for water. These can be very easily set. We'll look at that later. Moving along. We also have kind of like a jump pad. Something I wanted to add in here. So if you want maybe like a platform game, you're in a sky castle, or you want certain places where you can jump up high mountains, we have these little jump pads. As I call them, these are wind vortexes or wind tunnels. Now what this is just a box collider, I believe, with an on-trigger event. When you step in it, it raises your jump value by an applied amount. So I believe this specific one is a small jump. This raises my jump value times about 1.5. This is just a particle system using a mesh of little leaves I made with a little point light. There's 2 included, one with the light, one without. I like the light just for the little extra look. But if I jump right now, it's, you know, a simple jump. If I go into here and I jump, it jumps me up. Now compared to the ladder, when you're stuck movement, this has free movement, so it allows you to jump and move over. Moving over here, we have the larger vortex. This jumps your height by, I believe, your jump height by ×2. So if you go and let's jump first, simple, jump here, we're going to jump a lot higher now and move up to the mountain. So a lot of different options to do with those. You can use any prefab, any effect, anything you want. I chose the prefab, or I chose the particle effect for the leaves as I thought it fit this package and the style. It has that cute little feel to it. I can definitely see a lot of fun games with this. I can see kids games with this, all sorts of things. You can just use a regular prefab, give a little effect, or just use a stone, put a collider on it, and say when you jump on the stone, it's a magical stone that lifts you up. Anything like that. Very simple. So we do have a portal. The portal is a in-scene portal. It's not for level loading, anything like that. For now, there's no splash screen. You know, this pack has simple enough scenes. You don't need to worry about loading. As soon as I enter, I pop right out immediately. So you have one portal, which is the entrance, and you have another spot that you'll set as an exit. You can just set an empty game object, which I actually did here, but I still put a platform to make it look like it's where I would pop out. So this one is actually going to pop us over there, and vice versa. So if I go through my portal, all I have to do is walk right into it. Boom. Now we've appeared on the exit that I've set. The exit does nothing, it's just here for looks. It's the point of origin where you pop out of. If I go back to this portal, we're going to go back on the other exit we just saw. Like I said, this is just a box collider with an on-trigger event. I walk into it, pushes me right in. Simple as that. And one more thing to show. Let's see, we have another little drawbridge just for fun. So I gave you a bit of a playground to play around with when you get this pack. Just to give you that bit of fun to have fun with. I'm surely having fun both creating it and playing with it. Makes me feel like I'm playing the game already. So we have more little wind tunnels and challenge platforms and stuff like that. Jump on that, move up, and here's that secret chest hiding up. It has the highlight to it. This one has a particle effect and a light. I actually have pieces you can put gold and gems and crystals and stuff I have in the pack if you want to actually decorate your chests, or, you know, put a sound for the animation, or in some games as soon as you open the chest it disappears and there's a little pouch right there to pick up your objects. Let's take a little challenge jump here. Jump up to this one. So this one has no light, it's a simple one, and I missed. There we go. We also have floating weapons. These are just weapons that are included in the pack. We have staffs, swords, axes, halberds, shields, and this is just using once again a golden point light with a particle effect as well, and the rotate script to make it move. It gives it that legendary feel, like an old school game where the items used to actually be floating out on the field. You find the secret spot, you pick up your weapon, here you go. And that's what I was basically going with that. We have a challenge jump. Let's see if I can make it on one try. Perfect. Barely. So, you could set the height of how much it jumps. You just do the measurement of, do a couple testing of secret platforms. You can climb up mountains that way if you want secret areas. Maybe there's a little cave up in your mountain and you want to have this secret jump pad or something like that. So we have another blade. I actually have elemental blades included as well. We have light blades, flame blades, ice blades, and poison blades. 14 of them total, and then we have 14 regular swords as well, and as I said, other weapons as well. Pivot points are set at the hilt, so if you apply it to your character, they'll hold it right where the pivot is. It's a perfect spot for game-ready objects. We have another little chest here, and that is that. So this is the animation playground. Something for you to play with when you get the pack. This will be available for the full release. If you're watching this on YouTube and it's a few days before, this will be out by the first week of March. If you're watching this from the package itself, I hope you enjoy this full release that we have for you. And let me pause this over. We will bring you into another scene. We'll show you how to work this, and I'll see you in a second. Alright, we are back, and we have a blank scene I just created, little 250 by 250 terrain, put my grass texture on, and we'll try to do this pretty fast so we don't make this video too long here after what we've already shown you. So we have a bunch of controllers, as I mentioned. They're the two-state overrides. They have the open and close functions we've added. So let's show you how to do some of these objects. So let's find a prefab. I'm going to go down to my houses. Let's see. Alright, we have houses and pieces. Let me just remove everything so I can show you how simple this is. Remove, remove, remove. Okay, so we have this piece. Simple. If I click on my door, we know the pivot is at the bottom. I can actually rotate it freely if I need to. But since we've already made a door animation, we can apply it right to this. So if I go to my add component, miscellaneous, we're going to add an animator to it. We know the controller is the door, and because it's using the left pivot, we're going to do door 1. I'm going to rename that in the package when you get it, so it'll say door L or door R. But for now, it's just door. I know it because for the stream purpose. We have 2 scripts we need to add. They are in their own namespace, so easier to find the scripts in your project. It'll be aquariusmax.demo. And what we have here is interactable. This gives you a highlight color of your choice or material. I'm just going to search. You won't see this pop up probably. I'm just going to search for a green highlight. I'll show it. It's right down here. Simple green circle, nothing special to it. We will add that and we will drag the door into the functionality. We can't do a function yet because we need the 2-state toggle script. Simple as that. Scripts, Aquarius Max Demo, 2-state toggle. Now there's a checkbox for is open or is not. In some cases in games you might see that sometimes you activate an animation and it doesn't always work exactly as is. I'll explain that one second. Let's go to just change this, the function, 2-state toggle, now that we have the script, and activate. So it knows to activate when we go to it. So you'll see what I mean in a second. Let's go to our door. Let's go up to it. That one's actually working because I didn't show you what I'm trying to show you. Let's uncheck is open because it knows it's closed. Sometimes you'll find this in script. See how it just went from over there for some reason? And now it's fine. Just the way the controllers are written, as you've seen in others, sometimes that happens. It's very easy. That's why we had the checkbox. But I've noticed for the left doors, just keep it as open. It doesn't affect anything. It just helps you to know because of the way the rotation works. It'll just know that it'll stay as is. Any other thing, you won't have check is open. If it's a right door, you won't need that. So very simple, and that's done. There's a prefab. I can apply it and save it, and if I show you, all these are applied with script. So if I just drag and drop it, press play, it already has the highlight, it has the animation, and everything works perfectly. So doors, very easy. Same thing with chests. Very, very, very easy to do. Let's take the portal. The portal will be in a special effects folder. So if you come down to special prefabs and effects, we have portals. And these also have the script already attached, and all they need is an endpoint. We have one with the particle effect that I've created. A basic simple, if it'll let me actually find it. There we go. Nice little simple effect for you to use, or you just have a basic one without the effect. And it needs an endpoint. Now you can literally just place an empty game object, like I said, and make that your endpoint. Put that up a little bit. Let's make sure I need to actually save this prefab before I release this package with a collider. So box collider with isTrigger, because you'll need to do that as well. And we'll set that empty game object as the endpoint. There we go. Drag and drop and play. And voila. Easy as that. So once again, if you want to just use this piece, I have an empty exit point kind of right above it, just in case you have a bigger character, you don't want to go on the ground a little bit or anything like that. So we'll just take this and we'll put it over here, go to our portal, which is this one, and the exit point is what I named the exit point of the empty game object. Go on in, and voila. Let's see here, we have a ladder. If I go down to props, which is town supply props, we have fences and ladders. And here's a ladder. All the ladder needs is a collider, so a box collider with isTrigger. Let's bring it out just a little bit so it knows, it has a little more range. We don't want to go inside of the object. That works perfectly fine. And all this needs, the character controller is actually saved. Okay, I lied. This character controller isn't, but I'll make sure to save that like I did in the demo scene with a ladder script. So scripts, demo, ladder climb. Now the height factor, it's basically the higher the number, the slower you climb on the ladder. So 3.2, you'll go up really fast. I found I like 10 the best, so I'm going to do 10. That's on, and all the ladder needs is, it doesn't need anything, just a collider with trigger and a tag of ladder. Very easy and simple as that. Press play. So now if I walk up to my ladder, boom, it sticks me in, and now I press W to go up. I got to set the box collider more because that little jiggly as you saw, but it's very easy to tweak. You just tweak the box collider, it'll go right over the piece, no problem. So that's that. Nice simple ladder. It just needs a trigger and a tag, and the character just needs the ladder script itself to know that this is the one climbing the ladder. Very, very easy to set up. Like I said, those will also be game ready, instant. The ladders will be saved like that, so when you drag and drop them in your scene, very easy to do. For this purpose, I didn't save these many prefabs because I wanted to show you as if it wasn't set up. You bring it out, you drag and drop. I mean, you could even do that on a fence if you want. Just put a collider and climb up the fence. Do some Spider-Man thing on walls, whatever you want to do. So same thing with the fence. This is a fence gate. This doesn't have it set up. So let's see. Tall fence gate. Okay, this has it set up. So we know this is a game ready object and this should work perfectly fine. And there we go. But same thing with the door. If you don't want to use that, let's just say you want to use a basic fence. Let's make these 3 fences. These fences have a pivot on the bottom, so it makes it easier if you want to decorate your scenes. Control D. There we go. But let's say, let's put this back to 0 to keep it simple. Let's say we want to make this one our door. We want to make it open on the -90 from this angle. So we're going to use the door to script, and when it's named for you, it would be the door right. So once again, same thing, doesn't need anything special to it. I go to miscellaneous, I add an animator, I find my controller, which will be door right. I go to add a script. We need 2 scripts, and that would be the interactable to know it's interactable. And then we also need the 2-state toggle to know that it has a 2-state machine. It has 2 types of animations. It's on the right door. We can unclick that so it's not opened. Add to the list, drag it in, and once again we go to 2-state toggle and activate. Simple as that. I'll grab my highlight material as well. That's right. So I'll actually use the yellow just for now. Actually, I have the highlight color at green and that yellow, so I might just override it and stay green. So let's see. Yeah, so the highlight color you set is what it is, but the material helps you know the width and all that. So press E, simple as that. This is just a basic piece. I just added an override to, and I made it animate. I didn't have to singly animate every single object, which can be a pain sometimes. So having it this way allows you to really have full control, and I could just animate each one of these if I want with the controller. It's just a couple scripts and an animator, very simple. Moving along. So YouTube doesn't eat me up for having such a long video. We need the jump pad, as we call. And I'm going to go into my particle effects to show you that is what I'm using. We have the wind tunnels. So here's a wind tunnel. This is a large one. And now what this is a box collider with on trigger. Yep, box collider with on trigger. And this has the jump pad script on it. And it also has a jump pad tag. So it knows that the tag is jump pad, which means that's what it is to allow you to jump onto it. And it has a script. The speed up is basically plus what you have. So the character itself has a jump speed of 10. So speed up 20 is going to actually raise the jump speed to 30. So it's basically what that's saying right there is that's adding to it. You say is ground. I don't even think I need to tell what the player is. I think it'll work just as fine because it has the tag. But if I actually bring this down here so you can actually see, there's going to be a pain to me. There we go. Let's click on our character. So we have a jump indicator, is jump pad will check, and we have jump speed. So if I press play, we see our character. It has jump of 10. As soon as I walk into it, it just changed. The jump indicator now shows that it added 20. So if I go over here, it added 20, and now it's at 30, and it also tells you that you're inside of the jump pad. If I go out of it, it's still going to say 30 for the jump indicator because it knows that's the last object you went in, but my jump speed is still 10. So it's not going to affect it if I'm not inside of it. But if I go right in, it's checked as jump pad, and I can jump. However high I set it. I can set it to 50 and fly all the way to the sky if I need to. So it's very, very easy and simple to set that up. Like I said, you can use any object. It's very easy. So we go in here just to show you. Let's just make this our jump pad. I'm going to tag it as jump pad. I'm going to add a script. Script, jump pad. Speed up, we're going to do 30. So we jump even higher. This is the ground. And we're going to do is trigger for box collider. So now I can give it a double bonus. I can go over here and I can jump right in. And now that I'm on it, I can jump. Can I jump? I guess not. Must have done something. Always the worst when you're showing someone a video and they're like, why isn't it working? I think that's why. Because it's not high enough. The character wasn't reading it. There we go. That's very important. It wasn't actually on the box collider, so the character needs to go inside of it as any trigger event like that works. So same thing. Now we have two things on this. You know, go through, run the portal. Hey, let's go back and jump up. Jump into this one and jump up. So let's see. We have the doors, bridges, chests, all that. Similar two-state toggle. We have a ladder, a portal, and a vortex. And those are the mains for right now. I have some other ones I'm working on for moving platforms and stuff like that, but those will be later or available in a later release. I'm going to try to eventually do a dungeon thing with more traps and actual interactive stuff. And like I was saying before, maybe have secret switches in my demo scenes. You pull a lever and something happened halfway across the map. And you'll notice that later on there's a secret room opened up or something like that. There's a lot of options you could do with this. You can just have walls closing and opening with button presses and stuff like that. For now, there's no on-trigger event for, let's say, if I walk on this, it activates something. For now, this is a specific pushing buttons, press E, stuff like that. And that's right, I have one more thing to show you, which is the rigid body. So rigid body. Anything can have a rigid body, as you know. I just have some basic barrels and stuff set up right now. So what this is, you know, just mesh collider with convex, or you can use a, you know, sphere collider, anything like that, capsule if you want. Has a rigid body. Very simple. It has the same script as we saw, the interactable script, but it doesn't have a two-state toggle because we're not using a toggle. This is just to know it's interactable. And all you need to do for this script is just tell the object that the player will be interacting with this. So you just drag the camera from the player into it. And now that we've done that, we have a pickup item function and dynamic object pickup. So it allows us to know now. So that's the only thing. Everything else is game ready. You can drag and drop in your scene. It's perfect. But rigid bodies, you just have to bring them out. Go to the interact event. Once again, grab the camera. Create the function of pickup item and pickup. And the character has a kind of a sphere radius to know how close it is to pick up something. If you have problems with the layers, you can come over to layer and hit ignore raycast, so your character knows to pick up the closest thing to where it is, depending on where you're aiming. So I can press E and press F. E, pick it up, I can walk with it, I can jump with it. It's with me, it's now my friend. We're gonna go for a walk. Let's see, I can also open things while I have it. Voila. Let's go through the portal. I haven't tested this yet. Alright, look at that. So even that is possible. And I can just carry this with me wherever I go. Have fun with it. Press F to drop, and there we go. So that was the video for the Animator Playground and the Animation Showcase to show you how to use these scripts. I'll keep this video on my YouTube and the packet itself if you're reading this from or watching this from either source. So you have this to always look back and reference if you forget some things. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And like I said, there will be a part 2. We'll be showing the actual demo scene to the full release with more interactive stuff and just to show you an overall look of how the objects are looking and everything has come out. But thank you very much for your time and have a great day. Goodbye.